Hi guys, how you doing? This is a review for quiz 5, I believe. It has to do with different types of shapes and how many faces and edges and vertices there are. So for the first thing we're going to look at is an octagonal prism, which I printed out a picture and taped to my whiteboard because I didn't want to try to draw it. But it's an octagon on the base and on the bottom, right? And then it's a prism, so it goes up. So the first thing we want to figure out is how many faces there are to this thing right here. So let's see. Like I said, there's a top and the bottom, and because there's an octagon, isn't there 8 sides? 2. So 2 plus 8 is 10, right guys? And let's see, what are their shapes? Well, the top and the bottom are octagons, right? And the sides look like rectangles to me. So if I ask you what are their shapes, it would be octagon, octagon, and then 8 rectangles. How about edges, you guys? How many edges are there? So let's see. You have 8 edges along the top. You have 8 edges along the bottom. And then you have 8 edges around the sides. So 8 plus 8 plus 8. What does that give you? I think that gives you 24. Okay. And there were formulas that I went over in the notes. For faces, it was n plus 2. So n is 8 because it's an octagon. So 8 plus 2 is 10. And then for how many edges is actually 3n. So n is 8. So 3 times n is 24. Vertices. Okay, how many vertices are there? Let's see. I think there's 8 around the bottom and 8 around the top. So 8 plus 8, I think that's 16. And the formula for that is 2n. So that makes sense too, because 2 times 8. Okay, let's move on to the pyramid. So it's an octagon base, and then it comes up into a pyramid, right? Come to a point on top. So how many faces are there, guys? Let's see, there's the bottom, and then there's 8 sides, right? So the bottom plus 8 sides, I think that's 8 plus 1 is 9, and it follows the formula that it should be 9 plus n plus 1, sorry. How many edges are there? Let's see, there's 8 edges along the bottom, and then there's 8 edges on the side. So I think 8 plus 8 is 8 plus 8? No. 8 plus 8 is 16, right? Whoops, it's 16. Sorry, guys. I'm losing it, too. So 16, and that follows the formula for 2n when you're talking pyramids for edges. And then how many vertices are there? There's 8 along the bottom, and then there's 1 on the top, right? So that's 9. So that follows the formula of n plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to give you a shape similar to this. Maybe not an octagon, something else. And I want you to tell me how many faces, edges, and vertices there is, okay? Second problem has to do with the surface areas of a cylinder. So I think of this as like a soup can, you guys, right? A soup can, buying in the stores, everybody's stocking up now. Think of it as, you can cut the label off. If you cut the label off and unwrapped it, you would get a rectangle, right? And that label, the height of the soup can would be one dimension of the label. And then this dimension on the label, isn't that the circumference of the circle? So it's the circumference of the top and the bottom circles, right? So the problem has to give you the height, and it has to give you like the radius or maybe even the diameter of the circles on the top and the bottom. So you can figure out the circumference, because if they give you the radius, you can get 2 pi r, so therefore you're going to know this dimension, and they give you the height, so you're going to get the surface area of the label. But then you also got to get the top and the bottom circles to get the total surface area. So how do we do that? We have to find the area of circles. How do we find the area of circles? We do pi r squared. So you do the label, you end up doing the height times the circumference. You do the circles, you do pi r squared, add one circle, one label up, and you'll get the answer, okay? The third problem, which I didn't have room to write on the board, which I could do right here, has to do with volume. They're saying you're building like a patio in your yard, and it's got a square base, and it's got 2 like circles sticking off the side. And so you basically got to look at that as a square with 2 half circles. So it's a square and a circle if you put those 2 half circles together. So they want you to find the volume of cement. And I'm going to say, like, I want to put cement on this patio, and it's going to be a certain thickness. So for volume, if you want to find the volume of the cement that you need, this is all in the notes, you guys. You have to do area times height to get the volume. So all you got to do basically is find the area of the square, find the area of the circle, because it's 2 half circles. And so remember, if the square, whatever the square dimension is, half of that's the radius of the circle, right? And then you multiply it by how thick you want the cement to get the volume. So watch your units, make sure you're all in inches or you're all in feet. Just make sure you have all the same units. Okay, so give that a shot, and I believe there's example in the notes too. Okay, see you later.